In this video, I want to share how I elevated my content with these 5 key web design strategies. I want to dive deep into how strategic web design isn't just about making your website look good. It's about creating a user experience that transforms visitors into loyal followers and, more importantly, customers. By the way, if this is our first time meeting, my name is Emmanuel. I am the founder and chief talking head guy over here at Square One Group, where really our mission is to help founders and solopreneurs grow their business using systems. So if you're struggling to get your content seen, or if you're looking to give your content a boost, then please, by all means, stick around. The strategies I'm going to be covering here, hopefully they're going to be a game changer and exactly what you're looking for. All right, let's dive into it. And I want to start with the first key strategy, which is all about visual impact and aesthetics. You know, the visual appeal of your website is like the first handshake to a meeting. And well, I learned this the hard way because in the beginning, my site, it didn't really look that great. It was functional for sure, but it really didn't draw in any traffic. And in the digital world, this is just a massive missed opportunity. So I really embarked on this journey to revamp my website, but not just to make it look good. More importantly, I needed it to resonate. So I took a deep dive into the world of aesthetics, focused on typography and colors and images that really appealed to what I liked. Then, and this was the big game changer, I really focused on the story aspect of my website. You see, my website, just like your website, needs to tell a great story, not just present information. So I really focused on looking for and creating pictures and illustrations and designs that really matched the story that I was trying to convey. And this made my website look way more appealing when I implemented it. The big change here is that I needed to make sure everything looked like it belonged together. So that meant that the logos and the colors I used, they all needed to make my brand easy to recognize. The big goal here is that we need to make people feel like they're visiting a familiar place. And once I implemented all these little tweaks, it actually helped increase the retention of the traffic that I was already acquiring. More people stuck around on my site to check things out and to click around because they felt a little bit more connected with who I was and the story I was trying to convey. And the point here is that my website went from just another web page on the internet to a place that people actually wanted to read the stuff on. And this taught me something very important. When it comes to sharing stuff online, how stuff looks really matter. It's really the first impression. It's what people will build your brand on. So make your website a place people want to go to. Make it aesthetically pleasing. So if you want to get better at sharing stuff online and really building retention, start with how things look. Make it stand out, make it fun, and more importantly, make it be you. Make it resonate with your brand, with what you like. All right, next strategy here is enhanced user experience, or UX. Now, have you ever been to a website before and it felt like a maze? Yeah, my site was originally like that. People would come in, they would click around, and they would immediately get lost. Like, blogs were in one section, then I had about 10 different landing pages in a whole other part of the website, and then there were just a whole bunch of contact forms. It made no sense, and it confused the heck out of the visitors. I knew something had to change because people were bouncing out of my website. Now, there's a technical term I want to present to you if you haven't heard of it before. It's called bounce rate, and it essentially means when people walk into my store, my virtual store, and then they walk out. So the first thing that I adjusted to make my website super easy to navigate, it was to simplify everything. The menu simplified down to really just a couple buttons: my work, client love, which is what I call testimonials, and contacts. The blog and other links got pushed all the way down to the footer, which is what I call the junk drawer. By the way, I learned this from Donald Miller. Now, the next step is that I had to optimize everything for speed. I needed to make sure the pages loaded fast. And then from there, the next big step was I had to make everything mobile friendly, because the bottom line is everyone is looking at your stuff on their phone these days. So I had to make sure that my website looked good and worked smoothly on any device, be it a phone, a tablet, or a desktop. And after implementing this, people started to stick around a heck of a lot longer, and my bounce rate actually reduced. And that's really what great UX, or user experience, is all about. It's about making your visitors find the things that they need without any hassle. All right, the next big strategy is building trust online. The goal here is that we need to convince a complete stranger, a visitor to your website, that you're a good friend without actually having met them face to face. Now, at first, I thought my site was pretty trustworthy because it looked really nice, but turns out stock images don't really breathe trust. Turns out when you use stock images on your website, it's like not going into this one store because it looks completely sketchy, so you kind of just walk by it when you're walking down the street. Big thing here is I had to make my website look more professional, and that meant adding clear information about who I am and what I do so people know right away that they're in the right place. And here's a big thing. I invested in professional photography. But here's a true game changer. I've added stories from people who I've worked with before. Because the bottom line is, social proof makes people feel a heck of a lot more comfortable. Now, after implementing this, my site, it actually started to convert a lot more traffic. I ended up booking a heck of a lot more appointments. All right, next strategy, it's all about mobile responsiveness for really a wider reach. Now, I mentioned this briefly earlier, but I want to dive into it a little deeper because it is so important. Remember those days when you'd only go to a website online from your laptop or your desktop? Well, those days don't exist anymore. Now it's all about smartphones and tablets. And I learned this the hard way. I remember I was talking to a prospect and they immediately commented on how my website didn't look good on mobile. I was pretty embarrassed. My site used to be a bit of a dinosaur because it looked great on desktop, but on mobile, it looked like you needed a magnifying glass in order to see everything. Like the font sizes were really tiny and then everything looked all over the place. Not a great look if you're trying to reach everyone everywhere. So, rolled up my sleeves and I got to work on making the website more mobile responsive. This means no matter where you were looking at this website, my website, either phone, tablet, or computer, it had to look correct, it had to look great, and it had to look like the same on each platform. So I tweaked and tested the website so it could easily shift shapes, just like some sort of digital chameleon. And this was the game changer. Suddenly my website was accessible to anyone, anywhere, on any device. And I should also add that the big bonus here is that Google loves mobile-friendly websites. So this actually gave my visibility online and my traffic a boost. And by boost, I actually mean I actually started to rank for a lot more keywords on Google. So it was really like hitting two birds with one stone, more visitors and more visibility. All right, moving on to the next and most critical strategy. It is about conversion optimization. Now, ever had folks come to your website and just kind of browse without doing anything? Yeah, it's about 99% of us. Visitors will show up, they'll look around, and then they'll probably hit the back button. I had to change that. So I started with the basics. And the basics really mean just adding CTAs or calls to action all over the website. Not in an annoying way, but smartly placing them throughout the website so people can't miss them. Specifically, I would put the CTAs inside of my blog post content as well as on the sidebars of my website. I should also add that these all weren't the same CTAs. It wasn't just a button that said contact me now. They were sprinkled in variations of VSLs or video sales letters, lead magnets, and, places to book some time to chat. Then I looked at my forms. They were a mess. They were long, they were complicated, and they had me chasing down leads. So the reality is, I removed all of them on the website. I actually replaced them with a calendar scheduling application like Calendly. Much easier to chat with leads when they book time on my calendar, and far more efficient at blocking spam. And here's the secret sauce that made everything work way more effectively for me. I implemented A/B testing. This is essentially where you try two different variations of the same thing to see which one performs better. So I tested everything on the website. The CTA buttons, the title, the text itself, the layouts, the colors, and slowly but surely more visitors started to do more stuff on my website. And this is essentially what conversion optimization looks like. It's about getting people to move from just looking on your website to actually doing something. So if your website feels a bit like a ghost town, try sprucing up some of the CTAs or maybe add some videos or lead magnets to get people to book some time on your calendar. But more importantly, make sure you're doing the A/B testing. It's a game changer.